And here we are halfway into 2021. So I think a pat on the back for all of us. We've stayed course and we're here. And thank you for joining us again for another week of the India Fact Quiz. We have the Game of Facts on today, and it's a very interesting episode. Well, every quiz is, but this one in particular, because we have actually handpicked a few questions on climate change, on land degradation, on desertification, topics that you think is completely out of your league. But when you actually answer all these questions, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it was so easy. So just a very quick welcome to each and every one of you. And Udit has approved the book that we have. He is India Fact Quiz's official book reviewer. So if he gives it a thumbs up, then I think we're in a good place. But welcome, everyone. This is India Fact Quiz's Game of Facts. As you know, and if you don't, India Fact Quiz is powered by India Spend, which is a data journalism newsroom, and we are supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And what do we do? Well, essentially, we take complex data sets, we take numbers that seem very, I would say, difficult to interpret. We gamify it, we simplify it, and we present it to you in a way that we think will really resonate and test your bias. So this is not about general knowledge. This is not about bookish knowledge. This is only about just testing your bias, using a little bit of logic, recognizing that all of us have perceptions, we hear about things, we see certain things, and we get influenced by it. So you have to get past, you have to cross that bridge. And when you cross that bridge, it's a wonderful world of factfulness. If there's one thing as citizens we need to do is not, I mean, of course we have our role to play, but one thing that we must always strive for, if there's one thing you have to ask your government, it is to give you data. Because once you get good data, then a lot of things can actually get resolved because of it. You can make better policies, you know exactly where the issues and the problems lie. And I think it simplifies things to a great extent. All right, so that's my little spiel for why we need more facts and why we need more data. And now we're going to get into the rules. The rules are fairly simple. Or any one of you who are new to this initiative, worry not. It's fairly simple. All you have to do is, the instructions are in the chat box. There's Meenal, Shrish, Muskan, all there to help you. A big thanks to Meenal. Not only does she host the Hindi quiz, but she's a producer of this quiz today as well. So essentially, just very simply, what you need to do is, you have two screens. If you have one, you just need to toggle a bit. But on one screen, you're seeing me right now. If you can just, on your second device, log into www.kahoot.it. Please don't download any app. It's not necessary. And put in the game pin. The game pin is in the chat box, and it's 563691. Put that in, put your nickname, and you're good to go. So once I start sharing my screen, you're going to see your name appear on the Kahoot screen, and that will pretty much tell you that you're in the game. The first three questions, like always, are poll questions. It's just so that if you're new to the system, you get a little familiar. We just want to know what's happening in your life because we're so inquisitive. And it's just to set the tone. And also, because there are no points for this, any fence sitters, anyone around, if you've missed 5 o'clock, I know it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, it's too much for the Game of Facts. You're a little late, you still have some time. And then after the poll questions, we get into the actual quiz. The actual quiz is pretty much straightforward, 10 questions, true or false, multiple choice questions, and we just have one puzzle question because I know that's like something people just don't enjoy very much. So we have just one puzzle question. The theme of the quiz. Well, this week we saw the commemoration of World Day against desertification and land degradation. So a little bit on that. And then we have a little bit on climate change and clean air. So don't worry about the topics. Don't worry at all. The whole idea is, oh, Darshan says he likes the puzzle questions. Well, thank you, Darshan, for saying it right now when we took one out. But anyway, I mean, what we try and do is just toggle with the format a little bit. So please just keep sending us your feedback. If you like the puzzle questions, let us know. Or if you like just having, the true or false over the multiple choice questions, well, pitch that in. Let's see where we can take this. All right. Thank you all so much for joining. It's been a wonderful half yearly quizzing that we've had with all of you, and really appreciate you making IFQ a part of your life. We really value the emails you send us, the letters you send us. Keep them coming. And with that, a little bit about today's book, very, very special. And Udit has already given his approval on the book. It's Chasing the Monsoon by Alexander Frater, a journalist who actually he travels with the monsoon clouds right from Kerala, right up to Cherrapunji. It is fascinating. It is not just the monsoon and the subcontinent. Life in the subcontinent is so enmeshed and so linked. It's fascinating how he starts off the book in Kerala, where he talks about the spike in road rage incidents, in mindless murders, in just the whole atmosphere is just very, very overwhelming for people emotionally. And the minute the monsoon hits, the road rage incidents in the state of Kerala plummet. Your violence just comes down. I mean, it's fascinating just how linked the weather systems and our own human behaviors are. So that's the book that we have for you. We are clearing the backlog, and all of us, Prunella in particular, all trying very, very hard so that everything goes well and you get your books. And yes, I think that's about that. And all right. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. If there's any question you have, anything you want to say, please put that in the chat box. Meenal and Muskan are looking after it, and they'll make sure that they respond to you. Nitya, you're asking for the game pin. It's there in the chat box. I'm sure the team will just pass it on to you. All right. Rahul has raised his hand, and I'm wondering maybe you want to put that in the chat box, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and you are now going to see the Kahoot screen. If you can just give me a minute. Well, obviously there's a bit of an issue. So if you just give me half a second, sorry. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen now. Sometimes technology has a way of playing some little games with you. So Satyam, Naresh, Sai Chandra, Sushil, Neil, Aditya, Madan, Akash, Vishnu, Nerd, Sheila, Yash, Parisha, Divyana, Manas, Vanshika, Sini, Kartikeya, hi Kartikeya, Mamta, Pammi, Mukesh, Susmita, Bharat, Shri Harshita, Bima, Soham. Can see quite a few winners in the past. Welcome everyone. I really do hope systems don't let us down. Harshit, hi, welcome. We have a whole bunch of announcements. So I'm going to be taking time between each of the questions to be giving you a few announcements that we have. But with this, thank you, Amanat, for joining. We're going to get into the 23rd quiz of 2021. This is IFQ's Game of Facts, and we're going to have some fun. All right, so here we are. If anyone has any problem, there's Shrish, Muskan, Minal, just reach out to them. They'll help you. We have the poll questions now, no points for this, but we definitely want you to just say what's on your mind. And yeah, that's about it. No points at all, so no pressure at all. Okay, the first question coming up, very simple. Your favorite time of the year, is it, we don't have much option for, apart from the 4 seasons that we have. So it's summer, monsoon, winter, or autumn. Spring feels like summer, so I didn't put that in. Really depends on where we live. In Bombay, it's just hot, hot, hotter. And then we have the wonderful monsoon. All right. So clearly, the group here loves winter a lot. And then we have monsoon. Monsoon is a state of mind. And if you love it, it's magical, or it can be quite miserable, actually. I think summer kind of gets the least preference, and I get it. Sometimes the heat can be just so overwhelming. But unfortunately, climate change is really leading us into that place that most of us really don't quite like. And autumn, yes, I mean, that time towards the end of the year, just before the biting cold, is really something special. All right, we'll get into the next poll question. It's all about weather systems this week. The one season you wish you could skip. I mean, you pretty much answered it, but we'd still like to know, is it the summer heat? Is it the relentless rain, foggy days, or winter cold? Which one season are you okay with just skipping? If it just passed you by, you'd be absolutely fine. All right. See, I think we're just, and that's what we don't realize, that we have actually brought on a prolonged summer into our lives with climate change. It's just this extreme heat and extreme everything, which can be very, very overwhelming. All right. One memory of your favorite season, is it walking in the rain to school during the monsoon? Is it having garam garam chana, or some dish that your mom would make in the winters? Or is it eating mangoes in summer? What is that one favorite memory that you have which is associated to a season? You guys always help us make such beautiful word clouds. I can't wait to read this one. So, jumping in puddles, yes, drinking coffee, evening chai, sleeping in winters just has a charm of its own. Warm blankets, marriage. Yes, there is a marriage season as well. Playing in the rain, tours, long walks, ice cream, cycling in the rain, monsoon, litti. Okay, yes. I mean, that's, I think Bihar cuisine from Bihar is really something we need to discover. Mangoes, the countryside, chicken soup in winter, sleeping. Mangoes, clearly, I think is we're so lucky in a way in the subcontinent. We just have, now we can get into a mango war, depending where you come from in the country. There is a special type of mango that we like. I may say Alfonso mangoes are the thing to go, and somebody else may say no, actually it's Malda, or it's something else. Chai in the rains, driving, yes. Vacationing, watching cricket, dharamshala, of course, pakode. I think all of it just sounds lovely. The long drives and the tea, and it's lovely. Thank you all so much for this lovely word cloud. And with this, we really, Makai, yes, I think just such nice ideas. I mean, things that we definitely need to do. Thank you all so much for this. And now we're going to get into the quiz. 10 questions, like I said, true or false, multiple choice. These are all testing your bias kind of questions. So nothing which is bookish. All right. Okay. So all the best to all of you. It's about climate change. It's about desertification, land degradation, things that really are affecting our everyday lives. And it's just that we don't know in what way. All right. So here we go. This is the first question, which is a true or false. Globally, droughts kill more people than any other climate related hazard. Is this statement true or false? All right. So 48 of you said true, and it is indeed true. As per the United Nations Action Against Desertification and Land Degradation, droughts kill more people than any other climate related hazard. Okay, and we'll see what the scoreboard is saying. So Darshan was right, and he was the fastest. So there he is in the lead. But Darshan, I think you know more than anyone else that things can change very quickly. So enjoy your spotlight, but I'm sure Udit, Adit, Sandria, Mamta, or maybe somebody else is going to come very quickly and take your place. Okay, on to the next question. Collectively, the world spends X hours every year on round trips to collect water. Is it 10 billion hours, 40 billion hours, 90 million hours, or 35 million hours? Just collecting water that you need to use for your daily consumption. We're talking about the hours spent in this rather mindless activity. All right, so 28 of you went for 40 billion, and you are right. 8 of you went for 10 billion. I think you were there, but it may have seemed like 40 billion is just way too high. Um, the tragedy is, I'm sorry, 28 of you went for 40 billion, and you are right. The tragedy is, and I get where the ones who went for the 90 million and the 35 million were thinking, because this is one activity where we ought not to spend this kind of time. I mean, you think about 40 billion hours per year is collectively lost on an activity that we could have spent doing something else. And you must know that whether it is, of course, a bulk of these people who carry water to their homes are in sub-Saharan Africa and in Asia. Now, when we talk about India in particular, this activity falls largely on the women in the house. And sometimes these trips pretty much take half the day. So you could start at about 6 o'clock in the morning until about 11:30 or 12. You're still just going up and down fetching water because you're the one who has to carry water for the entire family. So it is a very, very hard task, and something that is really not, does not merit this kind of time being spent. Okay. And let's see what happened here. Sorry, Darshan, I'm sure you're going to come back again, but it's Rohit, Karthik, Rajiv. Hi, Rajiv. Naresh and Karthikeya now on the scoreboard. But as we know, with each question, things change a lot. All right. So the next question is, globally, hydromet disasters contributed to 90% of disaster loss and manage. Hydrological and meteorological disasters. So this is all about essentially weather systems and its impact. 54 of you have said true. In fact, this is a World Bank statistic. And one of the biggest issues that, whether it is the World Bank or the UN or any of these multilateral bodies have, is the time it is taking for governments around the world to acknowledge and accept that climate change is a reality. It is impacting economies, and it is impacting world economies. All right. So with that, we'll take a look at the scoreboard. I'm sorry, it's just changing so dramatically today. So Vanshika is the highest climber with this question. And in the lead, we have Naresh, Rajiv, Karthik, Karthikeya, and Sandhya. The ones that are pretty much topping the scoreboard today are all fairly regulars of the IFQ Game of Facts. So I'm sure the next few questions are going to throw up the new ones who have been very recently introduced to the Game of Facts. All right. The next question coming up, and this one is for double points. Every person requires a minimum of X cubic meters of water per year. Is it 1,000 cubic meters of water, 250, 500, or 2,000? What is your guess? So 29 of you said 2,000 cubic meters of water, and you are correct. In fact, what happens is that since most of the world, around 41.3% of the world is made of dry lands, most of us are actually living on dry lands. And in a scenario like this, a person probably will get access to about 1,300 cubic meters of water per year. But as per the United Nations, ideally, every individual on Earth must have access to a minimum of at least 2,000 cubic meters of water per year. All right, I'm going to get into the scoreboard, but okay, let me do that. Let's get on with this and see what's happened. So it's Naresh, Karthik, Sandhya, Akash, and Adi. All right. So before I get into the next question, just want to very quickly, I told you we have a bunch of announcements today. So one of the things that we're working on is trying to cut down the misinformation and just talk about, especially during the time of in this pandemic, health, well-being of senior citizens is critical. A lot of senior citizens are unfortunately relying on television, which is really not giving us the correct picture, or we're relying on WhatsApp University. So this is a real issue, and there's an organization, a fake busting news organization called Boom Live. I hope you guys are following Boom Live. What they really do is very, very literally on real-time basis bust fake news, and they've come up with with about 5 videos called. I mean, it's under the banner of Sansani Nahi Sirf Sach, and it's 5 short films. Which have been created just to tell senior citizens on how to manage and navigate through this world of misinformation and try and address some of the problems or questions they may have in their minds. So please just, I'm sure Muskan or Meenal or Shrish will put it up in the chat. And otherwise as well, please look out for it and share it with especially the elders in the family. All right, with that, I'm moving to the next question. Things are moving fairly fast today. This is for double points. Nearly X% of India's total geographical area is undergoing desertification or land degradation. Is it 25%, 30%, 15%, or 9%? So 38 of you, I think, just went and said, okay, let's go for the highest number. And you were right. Given the fact that India actually is home to a very rich ecosystem of animals, birds, plants, forest types, even just, keeping in mind the kinds of forests that we have. right from the Sholas in the south to your Himalayan shrubbery and forests in the north, to a very rich forest area in the Western Ghats. All of that is coming under severe attack from desertification. And what's happening is that this whole desertification or land degradation is not only affecting weather systems, so therefore we are all seeing a more prolonged extreme heat, long summers, relentless summers. What we're also seeing is the soil is getting degraded, and therefore even producing certain crops is becoming very difficult. And all of that eventually is going to have an effect on us. All right. And therefore, I think just the fact that we have a 30% of the subcontinent, which is under threat from desertification, I think is wake up call enough for us. Okay, so we'll take a look at the scoreboard. It's Naresh holding on yet. Don't be smug, Naresh. You know, and I know things change very fast. That enjoy it while you can. Followed by Karthik, Amanat. Welcome, Amanat, to the scoreboard, Sri Harshita and Neil. Okay. It's always nice to see new names. Another true or false. 10% of India's forest cover is under an extremely to highly fire prone zone. So 46 of you are correct. In fact, this number is a study which has been done by the government. And in the annual report of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, they have noted that 10% of India's forest cover is prone to wildfires. And a lot of these wildfires are man-made because of our negligence, and sometimes on purpose because we want to clear that land for other things. And this really makes our ecosystem extremely sensitive. Okay, we'll take a look at the scoreboard. Not much has changed, so I'm going to get into the next question. This is a true or false. It is mandatory for a consumer to return used lead acid batteries to the retailer or manufacturer. Is this statement true or false? Okay, so I don't know whether 43 of you guessed it or you know about it, but in fact, under the Batteries Act, and there is something called the Batteries Act. So when we're talking about waste or hazardous waste, it is very clearly stipulated under law that all acid batteries or lead acid batteries must be given back to either the retailer or the assembler, the manufacturer, and this all recyclers of lead acid batteries have to be recognized by the government, which is a good sign. And this is frankly, I didn't know about this. So the next time around, I see any of those lead acid batteries that normally you would have in cars lying around, I'm going to make sure that I definitely ask why it's not given back to the assembler or to the manufacturer for recycling. All right. With this, a little bit of shift on the scoreboard. I think Sri Harshita, Neil, and Amanat just shifted things a little bit, but it's still being led by Naresh and Karthik. Okay, so the next question, you get double points for this one. Extremely to high prone forest zones are in this region of the country. Is it the Western Ghats, the Shivalik Range, the Eastern Ghats, or the Northeast, which in your mind would typically have highly fire prone forest zones? Okay, so 26 of you got this correct. In fact, it is in the Northeast that our forests in particular are in a very delicate zone. In fact, the states of Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, Manipur exhibit the highest fire probability. Okay, we'll take a look at the scoreboard and let's see what's happened here. Okay, so it's Naresh still holding on, followed by Karthik. Neil has come a notch higher. And then we have Kartikeya, and then we have Sri Harshita. Abhijit Vardhan is the highest climber with this question. I do hope that you will look out for Boom's initiative, and please do take a look at those 5 videos. It's Sansani Nahi Sirf Sach. They're on YouTube. And if you can, please, if you don't mind, give us some feedback on, whether you like the videos and give us a bit of a review. We'll really appreciate it. All right. Okay. The next question. We still have 2 more to go, and this one is for double points. Peacocks are recent and unwelcome migrants in the state of Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, or Kerala. What's your pick? All right, so 22 of you who said Kerala. It's an interesting choice, but yes, peacocks are now found in the state of Kerala, where normally when bird watchers would do bird counting or bird watching, they never found peafowl in the state of Kerala. Now, typically, and I'm just going to, because I was fascinated when I sort of got to know of this fact, peacocks in general prefer regions with less than 75 of rainfall. And typically, they like the temperatures higher than 28 degrees, which means technically the state of Kerala, at least, just 19% of the state of Kerala topography would be okay with, this would fit this criteria of high temperature as well as low rainfall. However, because of desertification, we are seeing peacocks, which typically would have been found in Rajasthan, maybe a little bit in Maharashtra, are coming into Karnataka, have come well into Kerala. And what they do is essentially they will ransack the entire fields, they will kill the snakes, and in general, there's an imbalance in the whole ecosystem. A lot of peacocks also, because of the pesticides, and they've sort of run amok, they're also getting affected. And we saw one situation in Madhya Pradesh where there were like hundreds of peacocks just literally falling off short trees and just falling dead because they couldn't ingest the pesticides and insecticides on the crops. So essentially what's happening is we're using way too much chemical on our soil. It's affecting the birds. We are clearly, because of the climate change, the whole topography is changing, and it's ensuring that we are seeing birds, plants that we never saw in the past in those places. So the next time you visit some place or you're seeing something which never would be there is now there, you should be questioning why this is happening, and chances are the answer will lead to climate change. And climate change, as we all know, is something that is really in our hands. If we decide that we really want to stop it, we can, but it's going to take all of us to pitch in and do our bit. All right. So I'm going to now get into the scoreboard. It's Naresh, Karthik, Neil, Nishant, Kartikeya. And we have one more question. It's a puzzle round, and that's always your make or break round. So wish everyone good luck. And here we have the last question of this week, for which you will get double points. Rank from high to low as per the number of people exposed to these climatic extremities. We're talking about in India. Your options are drought, cyclones, cold waves, and floods. So what you do need to mention is from high to low, the maximum number of people affected by either drought, cyclones, cold waves, or floods, and then you rank them in order, and don't forget to submit the answer. I mean, honestly, we have a very impressive bunch in the room. I don't think we've really seen such high scores or numbers of people who've got puzzles right. So I must uh, right here up front acknowledge what a smart bunch of people we have on IFQ's Game of Facts today. The correct order is around 140.06 million people in India are exposed to extreme drought. And drought, we know, results in famines, and famines, we know, is linked to malnutrition and all of those things. And then we have 97.51 million people are exposed to extreme floods. We are seeing places that typically would get extreme droughts are now getting extreme floods, and vice versa. So it's all sort of, up in the air. And 42.5 million people are exposed to cyclones and storms. And cold waves, we know are actually affecting people, mostly vulnerable, poor people in the states of Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Punjab, Haryana, MP. It's like the northern belt really does face the brunt of cold waves. All right, so we've reached the end of this week's quiz, and then I'm going to reveal our three top winners who are going to get the book called Chasing the Monsoon by Alexander Frater. But before that, I want to tell you, we have some surprises coming up. We have some new partnerships coming up. So we will be having an extension to our quizzes, and we will have thematic quizzes. And with that, of course, comes some new prizes and what have you. You're always best placed when it comes to Game of Facts. We're going to have thematic quizzes as we go along. And this is in partnership with YouTube. And yeah, I mean, you will stand to benefit simply because you guys are already absolute pros. Okay, so with that, I'm going to come to the end of this quiz. I'll show you the scoreboard. And with that, wish you all a very good weekend, whatever's left of it. And yes, the rest of the month of June, I guess. Okay, so on the podium today, let's see what we have here. It's Kartikeya Tiwari in third position. And then we have Karthik Dingra in second position. And then we have Naresh, who's won this week's Game of Facts, and Nishant and Udit are runner-ups. So thank you, Karthik, calling Karthik. You've walked away with this week's Game of Facts, and Naresh, you are in the lead. I hope the three of you enjoyed reading this book. Please give us your reviews and stay tuned. 5 p.m. We'll be back with Meenal's quiz in Hindi next Friday. And then I'll see you again on Saturday at 5 p.m. Take care, everyone. Have a great week ahead. And yeah, just keep writing to us. Anything you want to share with us, anything you want to talk about, we're all ears. It's connect@indiafactquiz.com. And the three of you, please just fill in the Google form. We want to make sure that you get this wonderful book the soonest you can. Thank you, everyone, and bye.